Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hi my loves, it's Destin.TROYCE and you're watching Choice TV. So for today's video, I really had to get on here and talk about the Christian Keys situation. Now if y'all haven't heard, I'm pretty sure most of y'all have heard, Christian Keys, a very popular actor who came up during the early 2000s and now is pretty much exposing a lot of powerful people in the entertainment industry. And long story short, he basically got on camera on his Instagram live and he basically decided to make a whole entire breakdown explaining how a lot of people in the Hollywood industry are predators and prey on men.
Sexually harassing me for years. He was claiming, that he had multiple young black men on the payroll and they just had to show up when he requested them to be there. And clearly that's why it felt to him that it was okay to say these things. And I want to have these discussions. I want to be transparent with y'all about that. I've done my best to forgive this person, but it happens. It happens. It's not just women that have to deal with it, but it's also men sometimes.
Now, oftentimes when we talk about sexual assault, we typically always talk about how it affects women. All these laws are made to protect women because men are the predators and the serial predators. We really talk about what men have to go through. Yes, women are more likely to experience sexual assault, but oftentimes we don't talk about the sexual assault men go through. Now, it's a very common thing for a lot of men to be molested, touched. You always hear the horror stories of men being touched by their babysitters, or men being touched by the priestess, or men being touched by their summer camp teacher, or men being touched by their uncle or their cousins that are older than them while horse playing. But oftentimes we don't really go into detail about what men go through because from a young age, men are taught to protect their masculinity. He's wearing pink, he's probably gay. Oh, he's crying, he's too sensitive, be a man. Oh, be a man, you throw like a girl. Oftentimes men are told at a young age to protect their masculinity at all costs. So oftentimes men will never talk about the kind of abuse and shit they go through. A lot of the men in your life have probably been sexually abused or molested or sexually assaulted, but they'll never outright tell you because a lot of them know that they'll be belittled or they'll be gaslit into thinking that they're not manly enough. Christian Keys went into more detail explaining how explicit the sexual harassment was. He even went on to say that the sexual harassment went on for years upon years.
You get a grown-ass man that knows that you're heterosexual and you're sleeping off Hennessy in his guest room because he says it's safe. Because I know I'm bent, so I'm after a big party. Won't say what type, won't say where. I'm asleep. I'm gone because I'm 4-5 Hennessy's deep and not short Hennessy's either. And this dude tries to climb into bed with you. So you spaz out, push him out, like what the fuck? Get ready to leave. He apologizes, blame it on the alcohol. And you try to forgive him. So you're like, all right, man. All right, I'm gone. You shake his hand on the way out, and he tries to grab your penis. He tries to shake and grab your equipment. Like, what the fuck you doing, man? What the fuck? It's gonna be a conversation really soon. And it won't be a conversation or accusations. Again, I let the statute of limitations run out. It's never been about money. My concern is that this person is still doing it. Still a predator. And it's not okay. And I wish I was brave enough to speak up back then. Imagine a man walking past a woman saying, I see that print poking through. I'm going to jail that very day.
Now, for years, Christian ignored the sexual harassment, he ignored the slick, flirtatious comments, and much more. But he even said there was a moment where he tried to proposition this person many, many years later after the early 2000s. And he propositioned this person to invest into his company that sells books, makes film, and much more. And this is basically what happened.
Now, I'm like, wait, whoa, this ain't that. I'm not him, and this ain't that. I'd love for you to invest in my company. He probably should have, because he would own a piece of all the Queensman. The books I've already sold, the 6 or 8 books I'm about to release, all of that. He would have had a piece of all of that monetarily, but he didn't. He was thinking with his dick. And yeah, he came back in, grabbed a strawberry, sat down, and I was like, yeah, I'm leaving. You got my presentation, I'm gone. He's like, are you sure? I said, yeah. Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure. He's like, are you sure? That second, are you sure, means if you don't stay and do what I want, you're not going to get what you're hoping for. Like I said, you don't have to believe me. You can hear this person in his very distinctive voice. Once the sexual harassment started, I have kept one of these on me. It's a recorder. I've kept one of them on me for 18 years. So, it's time. I was worried that he would get in the way and try to interfere with my work and try to blackball me because he couldn't ball me. Pun intended.
Now, I don't blame him for keeping secret recordings, but I also have to kind of side at him a little bit, because if the sexual harassment went on for years, he invited you to his guest house, he was giving you roles back to back, why did you continue to give his number? How did a billionaire go out of his merry way to constantly have access to you? Were you playing the game to the point where you were trying to like get him to invest in your company? So he didn't invest in your company, but what would have happened if he did invest in your company? If he invested in your company and gave you a couple hundred racks, would you have went out your way to expose him? Probably not, because you would have got some benefit from it. So I'm kind of side-eyeing him a little bit, because in the entire live stream, he didn't want to say the name, but he made it abundantly clear that it will come out and that we need to brace ourselves and be ready. He's even so hype that a lot of blogs are covering it, as he should be hype, because now it's getting some attention. But there's so much anticipation, and there's so many people reaching out to him and showing him love, that he's even going on comments saying, oh, y'all gonna be so shocked when y'all find out who it is. Y'all, first of all, tell us who the fuck it is. Many people suspect that it is Tyler Perry, because he's worked with Tyler Perry a few times. I'll say he has about 2 to 3 credits from working in Tyler Perry films and TV series. And a lot of people are kind of like, it has to be Tyler Perry, because he's talking about $1 billion empire, a black man, someone who's gay. And in my head, you know, Tyler Perry has never said that he was gay, right? But deep down inside, most of us kind of have an idea that Tyler Perry may be gay, because, I mean, if you watch a Tyler Perry film, there's always a storyline about DL men or gay men, or men giving women HIV and AIDS, or men sleeping around and being bi. There's always scenes like that in Tyler Perry films. So many people always assume that Tyler Perry is living vicariously through these characters and telling stories that he can connect with. On top of that, people kind of think it's Tyler Perry because, I mean, Tyler Perry films are the only films where you see dudes who look better than the women. Because the dudes who are on the Tyler Perry films or on set are, like, usually stunningly gorgeous, like supermodel gorgeous. And it's abundantly clear that Tyler Perry has the type. He went on to talk about this unnamed billionaire, and he even addressed how this unnamed billionaire is going to hurt a lot of people's hearts because he's a hero to a lot of people. He also made it clear that Cassie is a big reason why he even felt inspiration to speak out.
Cassie speaking out has reminded me about not just me paying tuition for entire classes of HBCUs after this sketchy shit. Want to air him out too. I'm just tired of carrying this bullshit with me. This conversation is going to have to happen. And the drop-off at the police station is going to have to happen.
Now, he's now getting on Instagram deciding to expose this person, but he didn't say any names. And a lot of people are kind of curious, and even I'm a little bit side-eyeing him a little bit, because in my head, I thought to myself, if you have all these receipts and you have secret recordings, why not put it out? What's stopping you? I get that he's probably scared and intimidated, but he claims Cassie gave him all the courage in the world. But why get on camera and say you have tea and receipts on people? Why not put it out? Why not share it? Why not, while you're already exposing it, just address everything? Something tells me that he knows that the person that he's talking about is going to see that live stream that he did, and he knows that he might get like an undisclosed settlement. Something tells me that he sees what Cassie did because he said that Cassie inspired him, right? Something tells me that he knows that that person's going to reach out and maybe offer him a couple $1,000,000 to keep his fucking mouth shut. And that'll give him enough money to take care of himself. He said that since he started his acting career, he's always been a struggling actor. When whoever propositioned him, he claims that he only had $3,000 in his bank account. He claims that he had no money. He was struggling. He was working day shift jobs. He had also a kid that he had when he was really young. And he was struggling just to make ends meet. But we don't really know much about this guy. So him being a 48-year-old actor, not getting much work, probably going through a lot of shit because as you guys know, there was this crazy actors and writers strike where a lot of actors and writers were out of work for a very long time to the point where a lot of them had to find day shift jobs, bartending jobs. Some of them probably had to escort. Some of them probably had to make an OnlyFans, or some of them probably had to reutilize their degrees because this dude's 48 years old. He probably went through a crazy amount of hardship during the actor strike, and now he's coming out with this. I do think that there is some internal motive to make some type of benefit off of this, to make some money off of this, because I think he knows that major media outlets will reach out to him. And I know this because, come to find out, Jason Lee, the popular blogger from Hollywood Unlocked and the owner of Hollywood Unlocked, recently went on Twitter and he basically said that he knows exactly who Christian Keys is talking about and he knows that it's going to shake up the world. And the fact that he is obviously in talks with Christian Keys tells me that he probably encouraged Christian Keys to come out, and tells me that maybe he's going to be the one to drop the exclusive. Something just tells me that this all just screams, I'm trying to sell my story, because if I'm going to put my story out there, I might as well sell it. The end of celebrity culture is near, and let's be very clear that a lot of empires are falling. First there's Diddy, then there was R. Kelly, then there was this person and that person, and now we have Tyler Perry, allegedly. Now let me just say that this kind of reminds me of Gary Coleman's ex-wife, and I'm only bringing her up because I think Christian Keys has like a powerhouse behind him. I think there's people behind him, and he's acting like he's going with the flow, but I think he's really just putting this out there to kind of plant the seed. So that way more shit can come and more victims can come out. Now, it's oftentimes swept under the rug with men in the entertainment industry, but it's been talked about for many years. You always hear celebrities and entertainers and influencers talk about how, they were propositioned by a powerful man who wanted them to do certain things in order to get on. A great example is a lot of the models who exposed Alexander Wang. Alexander Wang is a very popular fashion designer and very popular figure in pop culture. And long story short, he got exposed last year around this time by several models, male models at that, straight male models, who said that they were oftentimes propositioned, offered opportunities, and offered so many things like benefits, clothes, and many other things just so Alexander Wang can get his rocks off.
I guess being by one counts, right? Because in 2017, I was in a club in New York City, and me and a bunch of mates, we went to watch the rapper Cupcake, and the club was just like hectic. It was so packed, you could not move, and I was like by myself at one point, and this guy next to me obviously like took advantage of the fact that no one could move, and he just started like touching me up, like fully like up my leg, like in my crotch. Like it made me like freeze completely because I was in so much shock. And then I looked to my left to see who it was, and it was this really famous fashion designer, and like I just couldn't believe that he was doing that. Alexander Wang is a predator, and there's been loads of other people that he's done this to. So in that case, he needs to be exposed. People with this type of status, they think that their power like gives them this type of pass to be able to do this to people.
And then there was a Terry Crews situation. If y'all didn't know, Terry Crews was sexually assaulted at a party, at a Hollywood party, roughly around 5 years ago. And Terry Crews came forward and he basically said that a man by the name of Adam Vennet, a very popular and powerful talent agent who has the power to make or break someone's career, touched his butt. And he was so violated and so disgusted that he wasn't even sure if he was going to say anything. But he came forward, said a lot, and considering he has a big enough platform and a big enough career, he had enough reach and enough leeway to pretty much end this person's career and give this person all types of bad press.
My name is Terry Crews. I am an actor, author, former athlete, advocate, and a survivor of a sexual assault. This past year, we have seen powerful men in Hollywood and elsewhere finally held accountable for sexual harassment and assault. I was sexually assaulted by a successful Hollywood agent. The assault lasted only minutes, but what he was effectively telling me while he held my genitals in his hand was that he held the power, that he was in control. You know, the first reaction was to be violent. And I immediately held back.
Why weren't you? You're a big, powerful man. Why didn't you?
Senator, as a black man in America,
say it as it is. I think it's important.
you only have a few shots at success. You only have a few chances to make yourself a viable member of the community. I'm from Flint, Michigan. I have seen many, many young black men who were provoked into violence.
And honestly, a lot of people dragged Terry Crews for it. A lot of people kind of applauded him. But then there were people like 50 Cent's dumbass who basically sat up there and kind of shamed him for coming forth and said all that buffness for no reason. As big as you are, you let that pasty white guy touch you like that. And that's why a lot of men don't come forth. And then there's situations like Todd Bridges. Most of you guys might know Todd Bridges from that show, Different Strokes, where he was basically Gary Coleman's co-star. He played Gary Coleman's older brother in A Different Strokes back in the 80s. And he was pretty much, kept a pretty cool and clean image throughout the years. He's never really been in the media, but he came forth maybe like almost a decade ago, and he went on the news and basically blasted the fact that a popular publicist sexually assaulted him when he was really, really young.
Well, I was 12 years old, and my publicist, he basically talked me into doing things that I didn't really want to do. Hadn't had sex before, and he kind of convinced me that this was the right thing to do. And kind of told me, like, don't tell your parents, and he bought me a bicycle. He always kept doing things for me that I didn't quite really understand.
So we kind of seduced
I started at 11. Yeah, he seduced me, and he started at 11 years old to 12. And then finally one day at 12 years old, some encounter with Dana Plato happened, and I realized that that was the right thing and what he did was the wrong thing. And when he came to my house the next day, I attacked him. My mother knew right away what had happened, and my mother went after him. My dad stopped him, and my dad took his side and then didn't believe me.
Wait.
And,
Your dad,
wait.
Your dad took his side. He didn't believe his own son.
Yeah, because, no, my dad, the guy did it. Predators are very smart. He set my father up to know that I was going to say something eventually. And he got in my father's ear and made my father, told him that I was going to say something. And that it was all a lie. And so when I had told my father told my mom that I was lying. And my mom knew I wasn't lying because she could see in her child's face, because it happened to her when she was growing up, that I wasn't lying. And I just attacked the guy. And then after that, the guy stalked me for like 2 years, and that's when they had no stalking laws. Everywhere I went, that guy was still there. But see, the problem that we have to do is we have to figure out, this bill was shot down in 2006, and we've got to get this bill passed. We have to make people realize that children need to be safe on these sets, and they're not safe because parents want their kids to be in show business so bad that they're willing to do anything, and they'll send them off with strange people.
Todd,
and that's something that you just shouldn't do. When a child is molested, for me, I can't speak for every other child, but when I was molested, it made me feel shame, degradation, it made me feel less than average. I mean, I spent from 12 to 13 years old trying to figure out whether I was homosexual or not. I didn't know because I liked the feeling, but I didn't know that was wrong, So, if I can keep any child from having to go through what I went through by having these people get these background checks before you become a publicist, before you become a manager, you have to have these background checks before you get around these minors in show business, because it's like show business is an open field to child molesters.
And the list goes on and on and on and on. Then let's talk about Charlie Sheen. Most of us know him from 2.5 Men and in plenty of other films, but a lot of y'all might have forgot that this man was an alleged predator. There's a lot of evidence of him messing around with women all while having HIV, messing around with all sorts of gay men in the industry, and then passing on STDs to women and then getting blasted and sued for it. And then let's also talk about the fact that he allegedly molested a 13-year-old boy when he was 19 years old during a film he did with a 13-year-old boy.
Charlie Sheen has just found himself on the list of Hollywood stars accused of rape. The reports come from the National Enquirer, and they claim Sheen is finally being unmasked after multiple sources stepped forward to confirm that the HIV-infected actor raped child star Corey Haim on the set of Lucas in 1986. According to the story, Sheen, then 19, convinced Corey, then 13, to have sex during the production of the film. And after they did, Charlie became very cold and rejected him. In fact, when Corey wanted to fool around again, Charlie was not interested. The story also mirrors the shocking tale by Haim's friend Corey Feldman, who wrote in his tell-all memoir that at some point during the filming of Lucas, an adult male convinced Haim it was perfectly normal for older and younger boys in the business to have sexual relations. So they walked off to a secluded area between two trailers during a lunch break. But Feldman never named Sheen in his book.
If you were literally sexually assaulted and abused or done dirty, you can tell your story when you feel like it's comfortable. But I feel as though that if you're going to tell your story, you need to tell all of it. Because why come out and come forth and say, I got all this stuff, I got all this evidence, and I got all these recordings, I've had all these recordings for years. Why keep him for so many years? Why not go to the police department? He keeps saying that he's going to take himself to the police department. Why didn't you take yourself to the police department and then go ahead and, you know, make this live stream? Why are you telling everybody that you're going to go to the police? Don't talk about it, be about it. Why say you're going to go to the police and do all these things and you haven't even done it yet? Honestly, we're in current times where a lot of people just aren't with the celebrity shit. A lot of people are not with the influencer shit. And a lot of celebrities and influencers are going through their demise as we speak. Every single week, every single month, there's a new story, a whole new Me Too movement for a new celebrity. There was Danny Masterson from That 70s Show. There was R. Kelly. Now there's Diddy. And there's so many other predators getting exposed left and right for doing a lot of heinous things, such as Russell Simmons and many, many, many more. And the reason why a lot of these things are happening is because a lot of people don't really give a fuck about celebrities anymore. The entire entertainment industry is losing fucking money. The actor strike happened. The writer strike happened. Everyone is fucking broke, losing money, not making as much money as they used to. So everyone is pretty much just like, fuck it. What do I have to lose? And honestly, something tells me that Tyler Perry sees all of this right now. And I have this weird feeling that he's trying to shake as much money from Tyler Perry as he can. He couldn't get money from Tyler Perry because he refused to sell his ass. But he can definitely get some money out of Tyler Perry if he gets Tyler Perry's attention somehow. Some way, somehow, he's going to somehow get $1 million, a couple $1 million, and guess what? We're never going to hear about this ever again. He's either going to blast and expose Tyler Perry because he cares about other victims and cares about blasting this predator, or he's just doing this because he wants some type of attention so that way he can get some money. I believe he's a victim, but I do feel as though that he has ulterior motives as well, in my personal opinion. But overall, that was that for this entire breakdown. Please be sure to let me know what you guys think about this entire thing. Overall, I'm a little bit nervous to see what happens next because I don't know if he's really going to put out the receipts. Who knows if he's even talking about Tyler Perry, but it is abundantly clear that he is talking about Tyler Perry. But that was that for this video. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Give your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And yeah, that's that. 2024 is going to be very interesting. We're in an age where all these powerful people are going through the demise, and there's way more to come. Choice out this bitch. Why don't we fall in love? It's so many reasons. It's the only thing that matters to me. It's so many reasons. It takes such a load off to let you know that you're the only one I will ever want to go. Think I never did know what to do. Although I never felt, now I feel for you. Why don't I just swallow each and every ounce of my pride? Everything you do, I want to feel again. Ain't no use for us to pretend, 'cause why can't we, why can't we, why can't we, why can't we fall in love? That's all you get for free. Thanks for watching, y'all. Follow me on Instagram and join my Patreon.